Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, those are the words of the said God, the God of Genesis. Of course, the God who was the main spokesperson of the grand stage of life that continues to be the grand stage of life. Of course, we are talking about Mother Eve. Mother Eve in the Garden of Eden. Well, there's the mother of mothers we are talking about. So, of course, Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all living. But we are really perhaps referring to the mother of mothers of all living. Of course, we now understand that there were many Eves, like a mother would have many daughters, many sons, and so on. So, of course, where we think that, or where we had been taught about that it was just Adam and the wife, or Eve, who were the first people. No, we've seen in Genesis of chapter 1 that all of creation was really done in the third verse of the Bible, where it is said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So we see in that the word there, I have done this before. It's all in the word there. In the word there, it has he, it has her. So basically, masculine and feminine were right there. He and her was in the middle of there. In the middle of there, and of course, in her. So he and her was in the middle of her, because her is really in the middle. Now that is something I don't think I had really picked on before, but her is the middle. He is there, and her, she is in the middle. So this is where we see that Mother Eve, of course, is the mother of all living, and who also created he and her, or by her, him and her, what came about. So she is the said God. When we do the numerical value for the word said, it equals 6, and God is 8. Of course, adding this together, we get 5. Said God. The said God is like in the Bible, and God said. So we have learned that. I'm going to keep repeating these in subsequent videos, because it's kind of new way of learning, a new I'm not sure it's new information, but through the Bible, the Holy Bible, it is it's related in a new way. I haven't heard it like this before. I just come or sort of stumbled through it, through my fun thing. Here's the thing about having fun: you are just being very adventurous and exploring, and the word fun equals 5. So having call on fun when we say through the presentations, oh, this is the channel where we are having fun, we are actually having Eve with us, and had not realized that we were actually calling on Mother Eve. So we are having fun, and that's the thing Mother Eve is really telling us, that she is central in the game of life. So the game of life has been going in a sort of way that we think it's just been one way, but Mother Eve is making a presence felt. It's just like having fun games. You don't know what's going to come out of it. You can see children having fun, and while they're having fun, it's like they are not just only learning, but they are being very creative. And so this is the elements that we are also inviting and experiencing while we are on this Crime Queen channel doing numerology, having fun. Okay, so we have looked at, as I say, we have seen that he and her. And the other thing, he and her is really central. Mother Eve has also taught us about looking at the first and last letter of a word to see the juice of it, really. And so, because it's like that which holds everything together. It's like if you had a cable or a rope, you would be holding the two ends if you wanted to bring that together to really see the wholeness of it, or to bring it together, the two ends, or tie them together, so to speak. So this would be 7. In there, in the 2 and 5, we see there is 7. Oh, because I'm talking over the drive. Okay, so this is 7. And 7 in itself have told us, when we do the numerical value for 7, the word 7, it has got Eve right here in it. I'm trying not to press too hard on this so I don't lose it altogether. Okay, so it has Eve right in the middle, just like we have her. We also have her in the middle. We have Eve in the middle. So basically, 7 is really telling us here now that Eve is in the middle. The her right there is Eve. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 is also of 5 letters, as it is for the word there. We have covered this as well. The word there also tells us it is hair. Everything is hair. H-E-R-E. And we have seen the beauty of these words. So he, we know, is 13. This is the number 13, where everything happens in 13. This is where the bond is formed. And her, of course, I only just realized, because I thought I had always said, and I said this in a couple of my presentations, that every time I see he, that I see the male attributes, is like it's attributed to the male, or the male side, or the divine masculine. However, what I just noticed, having looked at one of the presentations, is that even if it were her, like her is in the middle of there, when we do the numerical value, which is 9 plus 5 is 14, and plus 8 would be 22, it would be 22, it still adds up to number 4, as though it were 13, because 1 plus 3 is 4. And we have 22 here, that is also 4. Now, I think this is a real beautiful way of seeing this, because I hadn't done this before, and her right there is telling us as well that she is the her we are talking about. That is 9, 5, 2, 1, 5. So basically this is 10, 20, 22. So 22, her is water. She is water. So we can see Mother Eve is still very much the waters spoken of. And when it is waters, it's 23. But we can see water as her is really the same. Now, I hadn't done this this connection with the water and her before. And of course, because I was looking at 22, I wasn't also looking at it as the female right there as well. But it is, for some reason, well, it's just showed up now, and I suppose it's timely, as it just is the correct timing for it. And that's what Mother Eve is telling us as well. As female, we are 100% water. Now, going to, I'm believing that I need to do the 100% water. 100 is actually, I think, 38, which would be 11. And so we see that is twice here. So it is already quite interesting, a subject to, or an area to explore. Now, I want to just keep this like short, but I'm hoping you get the essence of this. I just picked this up, not very clear exactly on what I was going to do this, but Again, there's another thing we see with the word 7. It's also, when we add all this together, it's also 20. So, of course, 20 is 2. And we could see that the 2 in the 7 is reflected twice in her. So that really gives us a very deep insight to the nature of the as the creative force that that it entails. It entails the masculine, it entails the feminine, it entails the, as we have seen, THE, which is 6, THE, it has that the, and it also has the word as in hair as well, short for hair. And we see in the middle of this is the E. This middle letter here, which equals 5, tells us that Mother Eve is really at the center of all things. Now, of course, when we look at the letter E, as we say, it is 5, and we do the numerical value for 5, it equals 6. 6 is the number of man. This is how we know here that creation was already there. Man was created right there. When God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, that means man was there. The 5-pointed star that we are had come into being when it was. The word was has the W, which is the 8-petal flower that I have been talking about, because it has the M factor, the M, the 3, the E, and W. So it is that 8-petal flower, the flower of life. Reminds us that this is what we are right there. It also, when we look at the 2 last letters, which is 5, or the 2 end letters, which is 5 plus 1, that is 6. So we can see how 6 comes again reflecting as the number of man. And if we did the numerical value for 6, it would be 7, which takes us back into this cycle. Okay. And I'm just hoping you really get this. So he and her was there in creation from the onset, from that wonderful spell or magic spell of being of light, that we are beings of light. We are beings of light because in here we hear, "Let there be light." So we are the light of the earth. Christ came, according to the story, came many years after to let us know that we are the light of the earth, and that the light we should shine our light. It's amazing how the story comes out after a while. Perhaps people who had written the story or concealed the essence of that teaching had found it timely to say, okay, well, now we need to let them know a little bit about who they are, but still not giving the full format of or understanding of how that concealment was done. It had to be done through a miracle, like a man would come to die on the cross and to sort of save us from our sins, that we would have to hold a cross and say the 10 Holy Marys, whatever it is, and feel that we had to go for confession, and there's a lot entailed with that. But the story here, I do mention Christ a lot in my teachings, in my presentations. It's not with the belief that a man came to die on the cross, but it's with the understanding that there is a Christ spirit that dwells within us, that quickens our mortal body according to the scriptures, but it is really the same as the snake or the serpent being ignited from the lower chakra and getting up to activating our pineal gland. That is the instruction as well that I have been given through Mother Eve. And you may wonder as well, why am I going about the story of Mother Eve as well? I am looking at Mother Eve as the main energies of waters, as we have just looked in the numerical value. And in the second verse of the scriptures, where it is said, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep, or on the face of the waters, we are seeing that this is Mother Eve right there in that second verse. Of course, she is in the first verse as well, because she is that which is in and without, high and low, as above, so below. That's Mother Eve. Of course, as we get to understand the construct of the word in, which I have covered, but I'll leave you with this, and just to have this as a short presentation. Do like and subscribe and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualize in self-full love. Be bliss-filled, be a field, be ignited, because we are planting new seeds, and spill over with love. Let there be light, and there was light.